Alright, how's everyone doing today? My name is Adam Starseed Bey, and today we're going to be reading, actually, and this is kind of what got me on the subject. I was just praying and meditating and seeing what needed to be talked about. And Mark 4:22 popped up, so I looked it up, and this is what I got. So this is what the video is going to be about. So Mark 4:22, for whatever is hidden shall be revealed, and whatever has been kept secret shall come to light. And a lot of things are being more and more known. Let's see, Aldo says, good morning. Good morning to you, man. But more and more things are being more and more revealed, and it's not just from like, a public standpoint, but it's from everywhere. It's from everything from fake news to sexual preference to hobbies to religion, magic, aliens, ETs, many different things. And it's not just being revealed of, oh hey, this is what's going on. It's a blending and molding and shaping of a new revelation of things that was hidden from us before. And I've talked about this throughout my videos, that there is knowledge that you can discover within self. There's knowledge you can discover within self. And you don't need books, you don't need someone else to tell you what's going on. You can discover many aspects of self within you, and it's not just talking with yourself. It's going deep within your DNA, and that's probably why that video popped up. I shared a video out a couple days ago, or quite a few days ago, about DNA and how our DNA is linked with everything from ancestral heritage or your family genetics. We all download our moms and dads and aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpas and the great grandpas and granddads and so on and so forth. It's within our DNA. We download everything, every thought, every emotion, every experience within our being. So we have a built-in database. And this brings up a thing that just popped up now is, we got the new age term of the Akashic records, right? So we got the Akashic records, and when you go through deep meditation or prayer, you discover these revelation. So let me read the definition of revelation real quick, because it's just a revealing. So revelation, the act of revealing or disclosing something revealed, especially a dramatic disclosure of something not previously known or realized, a sudden insight or idea. Theology term is a manifestation of divine will or truth, and then I can go into some other things. But that's a pretty good one. Theology, a manifestation of divine will or truth. And that, honestly, that really just kind of nails it right there, is that all of us want answers. All of us are seeking answers, seeking truth of something, making something real. We thirst for realism, right? We search for some sense of meaning, some sense of truth within our life. And I think a lot of times you really just want to see a physical manifestation right in front of us, whether it be ET beings, coming at your front door, or seeing ships out in the sky, like light ships or these balls of light just show up in the sky. We really want to see these things. We want to see these things. It's always talked about. Our ancestors talked about it. It's written all over the walls. Good example is Egypt. But it's written all over the place that there is sacred knowledge, and it was at one time practiced throughout the world. This whole world, whether you look at all the temples or not, they were all linked together. Whether these pyramids or ships or whatever they may be, they were all linked and they were all one. It's just like with electricity and how it's grounded and then it's all spread out through. The term spider webs is spread out through each town and city, right? So it's backwards technology that humanity uses, but the reason why it's that way is because, if we use the sacred knowledge we're supposed to have, which is utilizing crystals, because crystals used to be everywhere on this whole planet. It was a big deal, and there still are around. I mean, you go deep underground in some of these areas, you'll just find these massive crystals, because that's what the world is made out of, is crystals. Crystals harnesses energy, but you got to be able to utilize energy. So that's where copper and gold and all of these kind of things create those currents and frequencies. The magnetic field, natural frequency that's on the whole planet. It's a lack of. It's because it was taken away from us, basically. That we're not meant to use the power to our full potential, to me, that's what's frustrating, and that's what's being revealed. And we're so close, and hopefully you guys are following me on this. We are so close to seeing this big revelation. It's not just, waiting to see if the royal elite or reptilians, right? That's probably one of the basic things that people look for. But it's the realization of what you are, the potential power that you have. And I've said this before over and over again. Christ said, "I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. No one goes through the Father except through me." And it's just that self-awareness. You have to go within yourself to discover that sacred knowledge. Those Akashic records within your being. And man, when I woke up in 2010, again, I've talked about this a lot. I did a lot of deep meditation, just non-stop, over and over again, learning about all this stuff by myself. Not no books, not nothing. I would hear terms, right? So I'd be learning about stuff, talking to these other beings or forms of consciousness, right? I asked a question and they would give me an answer, right? And later on, I found out, that people term that as Akashic records. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. And it's realizing, that these things have been done before. But again, I taught myself this. So this leads to the conclusion that you can discover what you need to discover within you. Again, you do not need no books or someone to tell you what's going on. And this brings up another big thing is magic. And this has been coming up quite a bit, just randomly, whether I click on YouTube or whatever it may be, is learning about magic and why it was taken from us, right? And magic is not just like mutant powers, right? Like mutant powers. It's a lot more than that. It's becoming more and more self-aware that we can communicate empathically with everyone, with everything, and with the beings that surround us daily. And this is where the stars come in again. And no matter how many times that I've looked at the stars, and again, I've said this before, is the stars look so much different compared to when I was a little kid. And it just, I swear, man, that the stars now don't look like they are outside the Earth. It looks like all the stars are within the atmosphere of the Earth. And every time I look at it, that's just what comes to be. And, talk about the fallen angels, and you read the Testament of Solomon and how they talk about on how all of these fallen angels live among the stars, right? Live among the stars. And it's so uncanny to me that, that these stars could actually be beings, or they could be little planets. I don't know. But, you have to put all of these things together in realizing that when you get in tune within yourself, there's some form of communication. It's not the imagination. It's not just making things up as you go. There's that hidden self-awareness. And a lot of times, you really have to, even to unlock the realization of this, you have to face your ego. You have to face self, your shadows. And that is probably one of the most hardest things that anybody will ever have to face. And that's really, honestly, what keeps people away from discovering a real revelation within their life, because they don't know where to begin. They don't know where to begin. Same with churches. You go to church and you learn about the Bible and stuff and the do's and don'ts, and then that's the end of it, and you go home, right? But they don't teach you that sacred knowledge that Christ taught his disciples, right? Christ. And that's a video I'll be working on too here. But Christ translates to the anointed one, right? The anointed ones. And, we should all be anointed within the spirit, within the soul. Anointed with a new self-awareness. And that's a big key thing that I've been talking about a lot lately, is becoming self-aware. It just like Adam and Eve, right? Adam and Eve became self-aware they were naked. Well, it's a parable. It's a parable of realizing just how limited your mind is when you are unaware of stuff, when you're just led astray with all these programs that surround us daily. But when you become self-aware, that awakening process, you begin to study and look at these programs in a whole different way. And what I mean by programs just means that, like people going to church, people going to work, doing their 8-to-5 jobs, right? Just the same program over and over again, waking up, going to work, going to lunch, going back to work, getting off, maybe you're picking up kids from school, meetings, going to the gym, whatever it be. It's a program. It's a program. And you'll realize this stuff even more when you study people that surround you. And you'll just kind of distinguish real people, whatever real may be, and just program people. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they are zombies, but you'll just seeing how they just play the game. And the new Jumanji, if you guys haven't watched it, it's pretty good. The new Jumanji movie really had that kind of aspect of self-awareness. Because all 4 of the characters went to the game, right? And this guy drove in his Jeep, and and they were trying to get answers, and this character was just a CPU, right? It was just a program, and it could only answer what it was programmed to do, and that was it. And that's how you can discover who is real and who is just a program. And a lot of times, these programs will actually help you along the way. Will kind of just make you self-aware of, hey, you're on the right track, you're doing good. Hey, you need to pay attention to this aspect, and look at this definition. So say if somebody is depressed or sad, or you get that empathic feeling, that's something you need to pay attention to. And you can definitely do praying and meditation for that person as well, because as a whole, we are all connected energetically, right? We're all connected, we're all energy, we're all synergy. So you're sending prayer frequencies, and it's really that will and intent. The power of words is a whole different ballgame in itself. And I say that again, that's what God said, Elohim said, is that the Word is God and God is the Word, right? It's the power of words. And with the English language, it's a reverse language, so it really contradicts everything. So, like myself, I'm going to start learning about Hebrew prayers, praying in Hebrew. I've been studying Hebrew here and there, just the real basics, but I really want to really get to the roots of things, get to that real Hebrew root, look into the Moors and their roots, and you'll go from there, and you'll begin to really realize, that the languages outside of the English are the true languages. They're just different ways of speaking in tongues. All languages speak in tongues except for the English language. And, to me, the English language, and based on research, is a book of spells. It's just putting spells on people, and it's uncanny. It's just realizing, all of these revelations are taking place daily. It's nothing is being hidden. The only thing that is being hidden is a person who has closed their eyes, their ears, their heart, their soul. They're not looking at the foundation that has been laid before them. And it's so hard to talk to people about this stuff, because at the end of the day, no matter how much research you do, Christ, Mashiach, the Anointed One, will always come into play. In any form, whether it be controversy, was he real, was he fake, what kind of heritage was he, was he religious? All of these things, they question that person. They question Christ, the Anointed One. But they always overlook the most important thing that character talked about, is to become self-aware, to look within yourself, to realize that the kingdom of heaven dwells within you. You can speak to Elohim, the Elohims, God, the seraphim, the cherubim, the angels, whatever it may be, all within you. You're a built-in satellite, and you can discover all of this stuff within you. And that's what Christ taught. Before Christ was born, all the Bible was, through the Old Testament, was worshiping of gods, right? The worshiping of gods. The my God is right. And you basically just see in the Old Testament on how there was one God, and then just one God multiplied into many gods, and it was all backwards, and it was just the beginning of some form of dark age. I mean, there's definitely a lot of stuff that is lost within the Bible itself, because you really have to really bring in all the other ancestral books and put them all together. It's not just the Bible that is a foundation, but it's all of the books, all of the hidden translations, and put them all together. But a lot of it just got destroyed during the time when people were utilizing these secret arts and bringing them out to the open. That's what Christ was doing with his disciples. He was teaching them the secret arts. And to this day, it still continues. I mean, the descendants of the disciples still are around. They're still around. That heritage, that lineage never died. Their DNA is still flowing around, whether it be in a secret society, they're hidden. I don't know what it may be, but that knowledge was never erased. They still have the secret knowledge. And I'm sure during the Dark Ages and Christian Crusades, I'm sure many of them were taken out. I mean, that's why they burned all the books and took all the books. Honestly, the Vaticans have all the books. I mean, they wouldn't be foolish enough to destroy knowledge that's the key to running this matrix program, to running consciousness, to running energy, right? Running energy currents. They can't control souls, but they definitely know how to manipulate the soul. And that's where they got you. That's why when they went on their Christian crusade and said, hey, you need to believe in this or you're gone, it's because they wanted to generate their own religion to stir you away from what we really are. And I'll read this here real quick. Eldo has posted some stuff on here, so let's see what he got to say. So, that's true, you have to be awake. I see too many zombies. That's what I call them. You have to be one with you have to be one who's conscious. And also he says our body is just a vessel. That's real too. That's true too. Becoming self-aware that we're much more than just our body alone. We're much more than just this suit, this meat suit that our soul dwells within. And it's so funny to me that people still feel that there is no soul, no battery that keeps you, or that sparks your existence, right? That sparks your existence. It's uncanny to me on how people can really just distinguish that. Even science today now has proven the facts of that our body cannot run without a soul, without a spirit. It can't. I mean, basically you just be a vegetable linked up to a life support. It's not the brain that runs the vehicle. It's the soul. It's the gas. It's the energy. It's synergy that runs the vehicle. And that's being revealed daily as well. Once science starts to say it's facts, they really have no choice. Public science is always behind because that's how you control the people. Same with NASA, that's how you control the people. Public news, that's how you control the people. And that's what I talked about in the previous video, is that because you're well known, and they're owned by all these government organizations and main companies. You know, they get to choose what is publicized, and they get to choose when to reveal stuff. But us independent people, and when there's all this research out there, proven facts over and over again, tons and tons and tons of testimonies of all of this stuff, it's still a not accepted reality or unaccepted information until the elite chooses it to be. So they get the praise and glory for the finding, right? And that's just part of the illusion. Man, it's uncanny. It really is. With all these revelations, there's fun pieces of the puzzle together, and that's basically the whole meaning of this video is just realizing you have to put the pieces of the puzzle together, no matter what. Is that it's up to you to discover what is real and to become self-aware. And I really want to start a school about that. I've been wanting to do a school of some kind, and I've been really, for one, I've been just too busy where I can't really lay a strong foundation. So I don't want to start something until I can fully dedicate myself to it. But the more and more I prayed and meditated about it, it's definitely, when I do start this school, it's going to be a self-awareness school, because people don't know where to begin with this self-awareness stuff. And it's not just, discoveries. It's looking at things from a third perception. The Matrix, watch the Matrix movies. It really digs deep into the self-awareness factor. They're supposed to be rebooting the Matrix movies. So hopefully it'll have a more realistic tone to it, because it was really the people who made the Matrix storyline had a whole different take on things. So it turned into a Hollywood movie and really missed a lot of key points in the Matrix. It's just becoming self-aware. It's becoming self-aware. You have a soul. Becoming self-aware that you can heal yourself. You can fix yourself. You can fix yourself of diseases and mental disorder and emotional scars and things of that nature. Again, I am not no doctor, so do what you need to do. But this self-awareness factor can heal you. I'm proof of that. My life was a little, I kind of got handed the key in 2010, so, I was fortunate in that aspect, but before I was handed that key, I had to go through a lot of stuff. I had to really live in the hell aspect of self, just the lowness of life, from, people that surrounded me. They did drugs, and they were suicidal, and there was abuse, and all of that stuff that surrounded me, and it was hard to watch, these people going through this stuff. And, I was sheltered, and it was by choice too. It wasn't just my parents, but I was homeschooled, and I was really kind of just isolated from the world, and I didn't really get to experience the world until I was about 19. And that's where I learned the hard way on life, and that's what I just talked about previously, and what people go through, especially when there is no spiritual awareness within their life, you know, and it's hard to, oh no, my computer froze up. Oh boy. Oh. Give me a second. I record my videos on my computer, so I can upload them on YouTube. Because as far as I know, you can only record on one camera at a time. So I don't want to lose my stuff if I'm recording on YouTube Live and then they cut me off. That's why I record on Facebook too. That way then I have some kind of backup. But yeah, my computer's freaking out again. Alright, well anyways, you know, maybe that's what I need to talk about, is realizing, you know, that you're going to have hiccups in your life, you know, and that's what I went through throughout that stage of my life, is that I had to really question my faith and belief at the time. You know, I continued to have a strong faith with Christ, you know, and I always prayed with Christ, and, you know, prayed that these people would receive healing of some kind, you know. But at the end of the day, I ended up downloading a lot of that depression, so I became depressed myself. And it was pretty hard going through all that. But it all happened for a reason. It all happened for a reason. And that reason was revealed to me in 2010 when I woke up. I had my own revelation. And everything was just revealed to me. It was just like, here you go, Adam. And my computer's just really messing up. That sucks. I can't even click on anything. Oh, maybe I'm saying stuff I'm not supposed to be saying. I don't know. But anyways, but in 2010, I had this whole revelation of stuff and learned about all these things, but praying and deep meditation came into play. And that's where I learned about the I am, what Christ is really talking about, because I always read the Bible all the time. You know, that was my root foundation. You know, I always read the path of Christ, the story of Christ, and that was always my foundation. You know, even when I was little, I didn't even know who Christ was, but I knew that there was some being that watched over me. You know, but later on I found out, you know, that it was actually a guardian. We all have guardian angels that protect and watch us daily. And still trying to get my computer to go. But this guardian angel always watches over us daily. And we're never alone. You know, we're never alone. And then you learn about ghosts and beings or ancestors that walk with us daily, and how they're helping us as well. Just everything like that, you know, and we lost a lot of that tradition, but others have not, you know. I mean, you look at native civilizations, right, that still have their roots of, you know, of the shamans and the what is that word? Just many different elements, you know, that allow you to go within self. You know, whether you've got to use, you know, they use psychedelics, or you know, they even use like fire ants, and steam rooms are good, smoke rooms, sweat lodges, things like that, you know. And that really open up your state of consciousness. I mean, you really have to go into, people don't know how to calm or quiet the mind. So you have to go into an illusional state, hallucination state, to discover what's really going on within yourself, what you need to work on, and then you got to decipher everything that's being laid in front of you, right? Because all of these experiences you experience, whether it be through dream time, hallucination moments, or whatever it may be, they're symbolic to you. They're symbolic to you. They're not outside you. They're symbolic to you. And, that's what the book of Revelation is about, is a symbolism or revelation of hidden awareness. And so many people misinterpret what that book of Revelation is. And no matter how many times I have read that, I always get a new revelation every time. And that's what it's intended for. It's a new revelation every time. That's why it's an unveiling chapter. It's an unveiling of self, and it talks about the inner self. It does, and you really have to really get to the Hebrew roots, words, to get the real meaning behind it, because it's not a future event. It is an event that we all experience throughout our lives. Sometimes we experience it when we are getting ready to pass on to the next life, and it's all in there. But what's also talked about in Revelations is what was going on during that time period as well. So there is that time frame that's talked about in there, as well as the dream state or the hallucination state of the inner self as well, that is talked about in Revelations. So it's a very deep, complex chapter within the Bible. You just have to just read it and just really question it, observe it, and look to it. People are making a fortune off of misinterpreting what it means. They've been talking about the end of the world for thousands of years, right? Always talking about that there's going to be a coming of the anointed one, or the anointed ones, right? The coming of Christ, which translates to the anointed ones. The birth of the anointed ones. The secret revelation is being revealed daily, and this is why it's so important to realize that during those dark ages and the Christian crusades, they may have taken all the books, but they can't take away DNA. They can't take away your DNA. They can't take away your souls. So now we have all this hidden knowledge and awareness, and by will and choice, when we are awakened, when we become self-aware, we have that choice to reveal this knowledge to our descendants, to our family lineage, and to all those that surround us. This is what I'm doing, and this is what many are doing, is being that voice of our family heritage and our DNA heritage. Why do you think they talk about DNA so much within that Bible? It's to make you self-aware that our DNA holds all of the history and knowledge and awareness of our ancestors, and we just have to tap into it, just like that. And it's uncanny, man. It's uncanny, just how valuable each one of us is. And how profitable we can be. And this leads into a whole other ballgame of things. But I'm going to go ahead and end it on that. I'm hoping this video was recorded all the way. If anything else, hopefully at least the audio. But if not, I got Facebook as backup. But yeah, so yeah, just realize that all of this self-awareness and knowledge, and I shouldn't have done that. Crap. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and call it on Facebook. So yeah, so just become self-aware, that, you have all the hidden knowledge within you, but sometimes you have to face your inner demons and shadows and become calm and still like water. Basically discover water, which is what I talked about before, Absu, Anu, and learn how to heal and fix yourself, because once you do that, then you can start tapping into your DNA and learning about all of that hidden knowledge that is within each one of us. And as a whole, we are all together, and we are never divided. There's so much dividing within the world, so much dividing because of beliefs and religion and trying to be accepted from others. But we live on Earth, man. We live on Earth. We're not divided by the illusion of towns and cities and countries and states and all that stuff. That's the illusion. We are all live on Earth. We are all live on Earth. We're just visiting Earth. I could talk forever now. But yeah, we all live on Earth, man, and it's time that we start uniting our awareness and our lineage, our DNA lineage, and unlock the Akashic records within us. Because once everybody becomes self-aware, that's it. That's all we needed. They can have all the books. They can keep all the books that they have, the elite, the Vatican. They can keep all the books they have, but it's already in our DNA. And once that awareness is fully accepted, because that's what we're waiting on right now, it's acceptance. Once it is accepted, it's game over for them. And then it begins anew. It begins all over again, too. And that's definitely for another video as well. But yeah, so become self-aware. Just realize, just like I said before, and let me read it one more time. Like I said, my computer's freaking out right now. But, and I can probably just say it myself. Whatever is hidden will be disclosed. And whatever is... I'm not funny now. Too much on my mind, man. Alright. So Mark 4:22. For whatever is hidden shall be revealed. Whatever has been kept secret shall come to light. So remember that. Love yourself. Keep shining bright. Realize that you have so much potential. So much potential. And realize, that you're not just a single divided person within a society. You are a piece of energy that is surrounded by existing energies. And we are all plugged into a source of energy. So put that analogy within your life, that we are not separated, we're not divided. This physical reality, man, this illusion really takes the heart of many. But eventually the spirit will overcome. The anointed ones will anoint the world once again. So yeah, so love yourself, keep shining bright, and I'll talk to you guys later.